Hi guys. I just finished the haul and I didn't want to combine the two videos because one has nothing to do with the other. I wanted to go live with you guys Friday night, but last week something happened with one of my sons, Chunk's father, who rents the basement apartment. Okay. When I moved into my apartment, when I separated from their father, that I'm still there now. It's a nice place. There's a separate apartment that had tenants, okay? And when they left, my son had asked me to ask the owner of the house, could he rent the apartment? And the owner of the house was well aware of the drama between my son and his son's mother, but she gave them a chance. And to be honest with you, when he asked me to ask her, I said, oh, she's going to say no. So I asked her just to say I asked her. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't have a problem with it because he was pretty good at paying rent upstairs, okay? Um, he had to pay rent upstairs when he came back, and his rent was $200 a month, okay? And he never gave me a problem with that, never, seriously. And even once, because he was commuting to the city and spending a lot of money, I offered to decrease his rent. And he said, no, mommy, I got it. Which I thought, wow, he's growing up. Being a father or becoming a father has really changed him. Where he's not, I'm offering him a break and he's telling me no, he doesn't need the break. And he paid his rent faithfully. Now, did he ask to borrow $20 in between pay periods? Yes. But pretty much would pay me back. Might have to ask him for it, but he would pay me back. Or if he borrowed 40, he would come with 40 and, say, hey, ma, and, he would give me 20. You understand what I'm saying? But I didn't mind because I seen him trying. Okay. So, the drama with, Chunk's mom, the fighting, okay, fine. But he still was good about paying his rent. So I was really surprised when she agreed to let him rent the basement apartment, but there was a stipulation. The stipulation was that she didn't want to deal with him. She would deal with me, meaning I would collect his rent money. And he was pretty good about paying his rent money. This past fall he ran into some trouble. He was out of work or whatever like that. So I helped him. You know what I mean? If he was short or whatever, I would put it in and I would get my money back from him. But, you know, towards, I would say, the last 8 months, it started to be a problem. But still, the rent would get paid, okay? Might be a little late, whatever, the rent would get paid. You know, and he did really good initially because I would collect the money on a weekly basis. I can't wait till the end of the month and find out that you don't have your rent or whatever. So, for whatever reason, this month, he decides he's no longer going to pay rent. Now, we're not talking, $100, $200. We're talking, close to $800. Okay. And being that I'm the one responsible for collecting the rent, I went to him and I asked him, what's going on? It's the first, it's time to pay. We're paying for up here, the first floor, we're paying tomorrow. Where's your money? He told me a day. That day came. He was avoiding me and basically told me he didn't have anything to give. So, I flipped out. So I waited a couple of days. You know what I mean? I gave her a few dollars towards it because I felt bad. And I told her, don't tell him I gave you anything. So I waited to his payday again, which was this past week, and he spoke to me like I was a piece of trash on the street. He didn't speak to me like I was the mother who has come out of her pocket time and time again to bail him out. The mother who helped him get all of his 4 cars that he owned, that he ran each of them into the ground. The mother who paid his car insurance, bought diapers, wipes, clothes. Like I said, I've come to the rescue so many times. The things he said to me, I will not repeat for YouTube. But in 42 years of being on this earth, I haven't had anybody speak to me the way he spoke to me. And I really just wasn't feeling it, you know. And he told me I'm not his landlord. I don't own the house. He doesn't have to talk to me. So I put the ball in her court and told her what was going on. And she talked to him, and he gave her a date that he would have the money. And that was Friday. Well, of course, Friday comes and goes, and he didn't have the money. And I've spoken to you guys about narcissists. I've spoken to you guys about, you know, standing up for yourself and not taking anybody's crap and not wasting time with people and blah, blah, blah. And I had to accept. And it's still mind-boggling to me, and I still don't think I understand completely what is going on. It's a lot going on. I haven't seen Chunk. This is the longest time that I have not seen him. On New Year's Eve, and I didn't say anything to you guys about it, there was an altercation. She left, and during that altercation, of course, she jumps in my face or whatever, because I'm trying to get her to stop yelling and acting crazy. And of course it comes, you're not going to see the baby again, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll get back to Chunk in a second. I've told you guys to not take anybody's crap, not to waste time with people. You know, when people show you who they are, believe them, move on. But it's hard when it's your child. Okay, we've had many discussions on the live or so on about man boys and kids and adult children, blah, blah, blah. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's hard for me because in romantic relationships, I know all about being used. I know all about being manipulated. I know all about being lied to. I've experienced that in romantic relationships. And I made it up in my mind after I broke up with the narcissist that I wasn't going to just tolerate just anything, okay? I wasn't going to put up with nobody's junk. You know, if I felt like you were a liar, if I felt like you were, you know what I mean, up to no good, you know, I knew how to handle you. But when it's your child, you understand what I'm saying? And I think that I was a good mother. You know what I mean? I worked hard. I left my house many mornings when it was dark outside. And I came back when it was dark outside. You know, I worked many 16-hour plus days to provide. I have sacrificed. I have put myself last. Many times I wanted something, I put my kids first. So to have a child that you have loved, provided for, talk to you and disrespect you like that, and to realize, you know, because now when you look back, like after I got out of the relationship with the narc, after I got out of the marriage with their father, you could see things more clearly. You know what I mean? You could see things more clearly. Like, you know, I was on Instagram and they were, you know, talking about Wendy not coming back to work today, and when she comes back, how could you tell other people to leave their no good husbands and you're still with them, with yours? Sometimes when you're in something, you can't see it. So now that I'm looking back over a lot of things, I realized that I was used, I was lied to, and I was manipulated from my child, my son. And, we always, this particular son, he is selfish, and he always, he always treated his friends, it seemed like, better than family. I can't explain it. And that's what we always say about him. Oh, Cameron, you know what I mean. But he is a user. He is a liar, and he's a manipulator. And I have to let him go, And it's hard to talk to, my husband, because I was very upset after that exchange between me and him. I was very upset, and I shared it with my husband. I shared it with my mom, you know what I mean? And it's hard because my husband, that's not his son, you know what I mean? So, he could be kind of rough, you understand, with his comments. And I know it's only because he sees how hurt I am, and he knows, since he's been in the picture, he knows how much I have done for him and for my grandson. And I just think men in general, to me, mothers are more patient, and they're more, they will tolerate more than a father. So I don't think he really understands it. But I have to be strong and accept that these are decisions that he's making. And I can't be used anymore. And that's where Chunk comes into the picture, because that's how I feel him and the mother get to me. You understand what I'm saying? Because I love that little boy. I was there when he was born. I was in the room. I seen him come out. I went to prenatal visits. I've been there from day one. And they know when they call and they mention his name, I'm going to come running. And I got a phone call yesterday from her grandmother. And it was about the baby's tablet for Christmas. And I said, okay, because it's just sitting there collecting dust. The tablet was bought for him for Christmas. Amongst all of his Christmas gifts are there. And I said, I have his clothes. I bought him a lot of clothes for Christmas. They're just sitting there. So she said, okay, I'll come by tomorrow. And I could hear Chunk crying in the background because his little cousin has a tablet and he wants the tablet. So they're fighting over the tablet. At first, I didn't know what she was going to call and tell me. I didn't know if she was going to call and tell me the baby's sick or whatever, because I heard him screaming in the background. So not once in that conversation did she say, do you want to see him? Or, he's fine. So she did come by the house today, and I gave her the tablet, and I bagged up his Christmas presents. I had some socks, and I had about at least 5 outfits, I think, 5 or 6 outfits there. And not once when she was there did she say, he's doing fine, and, maybe you could see him, or blah, blah, blah. So I had told my husband and I had told my other son that after that, and I was kind of sad, because I miss him. Y'all know I love Chunk. I made up in my mind that I'm not going to chase anybody to be a grandmother. I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm sorry. I'm not my son. Whatever my son has done to this girl, me and him are 2 separate people. When they were living there, I gave them their privacy. The only time I intervened is when they were fighting like they lost their damn mind, okay? Because then I have to hear from the landlord about them. It's just been 3.5 years full of drama, and stress, okay? And I told my husband and I told my son, and I got to tell Chunk's mother today because she called me today, and I'll tell you about that conversation. The next time they call me to tell me that he needs diapers, wipes, clothes, he's sick, I'm going to tell them, do not call me. If I cannot be a part of his life, I'm not a cash register. I'm not an Uber driver, pick him up, take him there. I deserve to be able to see him. I deserve to be a part of his life. I have nothing to do with my son. If my son did something wrong, that is not me. So if you can't call me to tell me, hey, do you want Chunk on your day off? Or when do you want to pick him up? Or when can I drop him off? Don't call me at all. And that may sound cruel and harsh, but I'm tired of being used. I have been used by the both of them. And they use my grandson against me. And I just have had it. I just have had it. So I had already made up in my mind. So then she calls me. Okay? I'm thinking it's the grandmother because that's what comes up on my caller ID. She's on her grandmother's phone. And she asked me, did I give her clothes that I bought for somebody else? And I couldn't understand, what are you talking about? I said, I bought those clothes for Chunk. Well, I've never seen these clothes before, and I know she hasn't seen them before because Christmas time, she didn't come upstairs to open gifts, okay, with the baby. And I didn't give my son all of the clothes. I bought 10 outfits. But 4 of them, I bought the next size up. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's growing so fast, he's getting taller. Half of the clothes he can fit for now because he needed clothes and he needed clothes now. And Sears had such a great sale, I bought 10 outfits. So I bought 5 or 6 that he could wear right now. And I bought 4 the next size up. So, we're just starting the winter. It's January, February, March. He's growing and getting taller and taller. So I got the next size up. I don't have to lie to this little girl. So you see the phone calls I get? So then we began talking. She told me about my son and all the drama. And I don't want to hear about that. But I did tell her in that phone conversation, if I can't see him, if I can't be a part of his life, don't call me. Don't call me. That's it. I've had it. So she said that she will drop him off Sunday. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. But I'm not also going to chase her down and say, what time are you coming? I've reached a point, guys. I've reached a point. So Friday, I just wasn't in the space to do the live. I had plans that were made in advance. I did have a great time, and it helped to take my mind off. It was still there, but it did help to take my mind off. We had planned to spend the night out in the city and go to my husband's friend's comedy show at the Apollo, and we did that. And when my son did this with the money, I said, well, maybe we shouldn't spend the extra money because now, we may have to come up with, extra funds. But then at the last minute, I said, you know what? The hell with that. I'm going to continue and live my life. He's making his decisions. Because I was going to try to pay the rent, but I made up my mind, as long as he's going to stay down there, I'm not giving her the rent money. I'm not going to pay for him to go to work every day and then he gets to keep his check. And I know he got paid because I seen his check stub. So why don't you want to all of a sudden not pay rent anymore? I have no clue. Why are you lying and saying you're going to have the rent on this date and you're not coming up with it? I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know what he's into. I don't know what's going on. But something is not right. And I went and we spent the night out into the city. We had a great time. And we had plans to go out on Sunday night. We had these plans in advance and I went. But Sunday during the day, my mood, I was kind of aggy. I was kind of cranky. And, thank God my husband is very patient because it bothers me. You know what I mean? When I have that moment of stillness and I'm not distracted by work or something like that, I think about it, It's wintertime. Do you think I want my son on the street? Do you think I want him to, I don't know what he's into. I don't know if he is experimenting with something stronger than marijuana now. I don't know. So that thinks in my mind. And then I had the thought of Chunk. But I'm glad once I found out when the grandmother called me, her grandmother called me. She's a pretty decent lady. She lives clean. She lives decently. So when I found out he was over there, I felt a little bit better. But I have that on my mind as well. You know what I mean? So I just wasn't feeling the Friday live, guys, because of everything. And that's why, somebody asked me on YouTube, why didn't you do your live? I didn't expect this. I didn't see this coming. It seems like, I was sick for 3 weeks and then I'm getting well and then I was hit with this, and that is why. But I just, you just have to let go. And that's what I'm dealing with, just letting go and letting a person. But, like I said, I have dealt with the manipulators and liars and users and cheaters on the romantic level, but accepting that this is your child, because the way he spoke to me, I don't know this Cameron. I don't know who this was. And he wasn't speaking to me as if he knew who I was. So, it just was something else, guys. So, I just had to take a step back. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I just wanted to explain to you guys what's going on. And if you don't see me or if you haven't seen me, the reason why, okay? I love you guys and I'll talk to you soon.